Hi, mystery writers. It's Sarah Altair. This is Write a Killer Mystery, and today we're going to talk about why your detective needs to take a stance. First, I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon for their continued support of this video series and my mystery writing, and if you'd like to join us, there's a link in the description below. All right. So let's talk about our sleuth taking a stance. The success of a mystery narrative is not solely dependent on that mystery puzzle plot. The charismatic, captivating character makes a mystery shine. And you want that for your mystery detective. They're the character that your reader follows through the story. And it's the lens where they interpret everything that they see and learn about solving the puzzle. And though it's often chaotic and confusing, the reader relies on your protagonist to lead them through, and that well-rounded detective who expresses their convictions, struggles with dilemmas, and exhibits courage can offer the reader not just a ride through a labyrinth of clues and suspects, but a journey, an emotional journey, and an ethical exploration. So the heart of your mystery is engaging your readers with your protagonist and a protagonist they care about. In every compelling story, there's a force that pulls us through the narrative, and a twisting plot can intrigue us, and a meticulously crafted word can enchant us, but it's the characters who beckon us into the tale and make us really care. And for mystery specifically, that's your sleuth protagonist, the hero of the journey. So let's take a look at how taking a stand impacts your story. It impacts the dynamics of the story. It adds depth to the plot by weaving conflict and tension and character growth elements into the plot, as well as just solving the puzzle. A detective who stands by their principles may clash with other characters or institutions, and they enhance the plot with these interpersonal and societal actions. And their journey in resolving the mystery may challenge their beliefs, leading to internal conflicts and compelling character development. And we talked recently about internal and external conflict. So a good mystery isn't just about that whodunit, although readers will tell you that's why they're there. But what gets them engaged in this story is the characters. And your character taking a stance makes them strong, gives them fortitude, because they don't back down. They take a stance about things. So let's look at 5 techniques to make your character an active advocate for what they believe in. First of all, you want to give them personal stakes. Give them something that they care about that's happening in this story. When the mystery's outcome directly impacts your detectives, their motivations become personal, and the stakes are much higher. And of course, that involves your reader, and this draws that reader in, and they're rooting for the detective as they're going along. For example, in Dennis Lehane's Gone Baby Gone, private investigators Patrick Kinsey and Angela Gennaro take on a case involving a missing child from their own neighborhood adding an intensely personal dimension to their mission. All right. Another way you can do this is to challenge their beliefs. Test your detective's beliefs with cases that challenge their personal worldview. This leads to an internal conflict and tension. Readers will be eager to see if and how their views evolve, if they do. In Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, the detective's rigid belief in rationality and logic is often challenged by seemingly inexplainable phenomena, making the resolution all the more satisfying. And then, of course, you can make them an advocate for the underdog. Having your detective stand up for the underrepresented or the downtrodden can forge a strong emotional connection with readers who often root for the underdog themselves. In Sue Grafton's Alphabet series, Kinsey Milhone frequently stands up for clients who can't protect themselves, making her an empathetic and very principled advocate. And another way they can take a stand is to set them against the system. They're fighting against societal or institutional corruption, and this gives them a cause to stand for and positions them as a moral compass within your narrative. In Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe, a private detective often finds himself at odds with a corrupt legal system, enhancing his appeal as a man of principles. And another way you can do this is to let them make sacrifices, give them personal sacrifices. A detective who sacrifices their comfort or safety or even their personal relationships for the sake of the case shows their dedication and commitment. And this makes readers admire them even more when even if the reader disagrees with the detective's decision. Michael Bloomfist risks his career and personal safety to uncover a dangerous conspiracy in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and he earns the respect of readers despite the high cost to his career. So those are just a few ways you can help your detective take a stand and make them more emotionally relatable for your readers. You also want to make sure that your detective, besides taking action, actually voices their values. Actions speak louder than words, as it were. But it's equally important to remember that while a detective's actions can make a significant statement, their voiced opinions can add another level of richness to their character. Opinions are powerful because they provide a window into your detective's mind, showcasing their values and their biases and their unique perspectives. So opinions drive dialogue, that's for sure. And you create more dynamic and engaging dialogues by giving your detective strong opinions. Think of Michael Connelly's Harry Bosch. And also their opinions reflect values. What your detective believes in says a lot about their character. Their views on justice or morality or society and even smaller everyday causes can help readers understand their core values and motivations. Robert B. Parker's Spencer has a distinctly sardonic perspective on Boston's elite, revealing his disdain for hypocrisy. Also, opinions foster emotional connections. And I've talked about this before. Readers may agree or disagree with your detective's opinions, but having those opinions makes your detective more real. And then as story creators, opinions ignite conflict, just like those actions of taking a stance ignite conflict, so do their opinions. And expressed opinions can lead to external conflict with characters, and also internally when circumstances challenge those beliefs and opinions. And this can add more tension to your plot. J.D. Robb's detective Eve Dallas has uncompromising views on justice and often leads to clashes with authority figures, adding a layer of conflict to that narrative. So while your detective's actions may form the bulk of their character, their voiced opinions often add that extra oomph to the story. So make sure that you create a sleuth with a stance. It's a secret power tool for mystery writers. It's from Sherlock Holmes to Philip Marlowe's battle against corruption. Detectives who take a stand have long captured the imagination and the loyalty of readers, and it keeps them enthralled with the story, turning those pages and wondering not just how they're going to solve the mystery, which they came for the mystery, right? But how their character is going to resolve these conflicts that come from their opinions and their moral stance. All right, I hope that gives you something to think about for your mystery. I think that it's really important for your character to engage with their opinions, express their opinions. So just having them do things isn't as engaging for the reader as giving them opinions and having them take a stance about what they're doing. And also, I wanted to note there's always a link to Plotter, which is a story creation tool. There's always a link to Plotter in the description. And I realized this week that the link I had was obsolete, so my apologies for that. This week's link for Plotter is real. You won't get to a disappeared page with this link, this week's link, so my apologies for that. So I need to stay up to date, and I fixed that. And once again, I want to thank Audible for being a sponsor of Write a Killer Mystery. And there's a link in the description below for a 30-day free trial to Audible where you can listen to stories narrated on your device. And it's a wonderful way to consume stories. So if you haven't tried Audible before, I encourage you to give it a try. All right, thank you so much. Give your detective a stance, give them opinions, and I will see you next week on Write a Killer Mystery.